It's game time.
We got Leroy Hoard with us, of course. He joins us every week at this time. Leroy, how are you?
Oh man, it's been a rough couple of weeks. I rewatched the game just to try to, when you see something, and you want to shake your head and say, "I did not see that."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What are you talking about specifically, Leroy? Is there something specifically you have in mind?
Just to me, it looks like the defense is getting worn down and being asked to be way too perfect. And it's showing that every time they give up anything, it costs the team. And it's sucking the life out of them. And they're still playing okay. I heard you guys talking about the two guards. Was it 2 guards or 2 linemen?
Yeah, 2 guards.
The 2 rookie linemen.
Yeah.
And I think you want to make some adjustments, but if you look at those numbers, sometimes you just have to do what you're doing and do it better, right? Sometimes those numbers, and they did run the ball well, but not to the point where they were just, the game got out of touch. So, I don't know if I would have said, to Jim, hey, let's start putting some pressure on them, moving guys around and kind of try to find a soft spot on the offensive line. I think I would have did that more to make the quarterback feel a little uncomfortable. But, yeah, it's just hard because, after a couple of games like this, you want to come up with solutions. And from the outside looking in, we don't really know what the problem is, But I will say this. The one thing that I could always count on with the Cleveland Browns in the last 5+ years is they're going to run the football and stop the run. And they've lost that identity on both sides of the ball. When you lose that identity, you lose the physicality in which it takes to do those things. So I start there. And then how does the game unfold from those two aspects of it? And when you run the football, that opens up play action. You're not getting after the quarterback. When you let offensive linemen go downhill a lot, then they seem to pass protect better because they got a chance to get their shine on, pounding people. And it's just a snowball effect. But it all starts, and I'm seeing this throughout the league. It all starts with running the football and stopping the run. I don't care how cute your offense is. I don't care how fancy your offense is. At some point in time, you got to play physical football. And those teams that do all that sideways stuff and go side to side, they lose their physicality. And that's what's happening throughout the league. When you see all these teams, hell, look at Miami. All the outside runs and all the sweeps and stuff like that, it's 3rd and 1. They can't get a yard because they ain't never been physical enough to ever have to do it.
Leroy, when you look at now, speaking of physicality, your boy is practice on a limited basis yesterday. Yeah. Do you think we see him Sunday, or do you think he should wait another week?
I think they're gonna. I would err on the side of caution, but I will also say this: if you're healthy, you're healthy. You see what I'm saying? Like if you have been declared healthy, waiting another week ain't gonna make you more healthy. No, there's no such thing. You're either healthy or you're not.
Yep.
So if he's not quite there, then he's not healthy. If he's healthy, then he can play. And we can't make that determination, but that's how I do it with everything. That's how I did it with Tua. Like, okay, first of all, who cares what everybody thinks? He has to be cleared to play. Until he's cleared to play, having all these side conversations don't matter. So let's wait for Nick Chubb to get to that point and then see how he feels. And then we can do that. He ain't really doing the little thing on the bench. He's sitting down. He ain't even standing up yet. What are we doing? You think he gonna run through folks? Like, what y'all seeing? Yeah. I don't know when that picture was taken.
Ran through in a minute.
No.
Yeah. So, but do I think here's when Nick Chubb comes back, the tone that he sets on the football field changes the attitude of everybody else. Everybody has that guy, right? Everybody has that guy. When he goes onto the football field, because you know how he plays, everybody else follows suit. So, will Nick Chubb make a difference? Yes. Even if he doesn't have a whole bunch of success.
Leroy, I just wanted to follow up. I was actually reading an article about you from 10 years ago, believe it or not, earlier today, in some Minnesota paper. I don't remember what it was, but you talked about what you went through after playing, tough times you went through, and how you came out of it. And because you brought up Tua, it just kind of reminded me of something that you said in this article, that you had, they quoted you saying you had a ton of concussions, but that you only missed one game in your career due to concussion. Obviously, it wasn't taken as seriously then as it is now. But so because you brought up Tua, I don't know. I mean, like, I can't remember if we've talked to you about it already, but
right. So,
like what's your thoughts about what he's been through, knowing what you've been through?
I'll tell you the story. So, I was on kickoff. I'd never been on kickoff before, but when Bill Belichick took over, everybody did special teams. So I was on kickoff. I was hauling ass down the field. And I went, uh-oh, I'm by myself and I got to make a tackle, which I've never done. So I kind of turned my head to the side, had a collision, night-night. Now, the crazy thing about it was, and let me show you how these concussions work. You know who the guy I tackled? Ice Cube, the smallest guy in the NFL.
Who was it?
Gerald McNeil.
Yeah.
Gerald McNeil.
Yeah.
He was 145 pounds, soaking wet.
Yeah.
So I understand how these things happen. Everybody just like the hits are the collisions, the what? No, it's not. Like it's just it has more or less to do with how you get hit. So I've had other concussions and I've missed the rest of games. And that following week, I went through all the tests, right? Even practice. And this was right after I went to the hospital and came back to the stadium in my street clothes.
Yeah.
They didn't hold me for observation. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Hold up the 2 fingers or whatever. Let's go. Right?
You hit the sword, huh?
Damn.
Right. So I go, they bring me back to the stadium. I go out on the field. I say, I'm good. I got a neck brace on or whatever. I'm in my street clothes. The following week, I don't practice on Wednesday. I go through some practice Thursday, and they take me through a workout on Friday. Bill Belichick comes to me and say, I'm going to sit you out this week. I said, but I'm healthy. I need to see one more week. So he tells that story about how he sat guys out that were cleared for play. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, yeah, that was me. Mm-hmm. So you can't – I think, it's such a – you got to be careful with it. Now there's more tests. There's more ways to evaluate it or whatever. Tua is going to go through that process. If he's cleared, then he can play. It's his decision. But here's what I would say. It's probably going to happen again.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's football. Your head is not going – you ain't going to be able to play for a substantial amount of time with your head not being put in harm's way. And that's just the nature of the sport. So we have to understand the nature of the sport and understand the necessary steps that need to be taken for a player to be able to get back on the field. While everybody's getting all up in arms, hey, if you're not cleared, you can't play. And they have more testing, they have more evaluation, they have more steps that they take to clear you. That's the best you can do at this moment. Mm-hmm. So Like, yeah, like I get it. I understand it. I try to explain it to people. And yeah, I had some concussions. Sure. Right? Did I ever think at that time, what the lasting effects were? No, I love playing football. And football is a physical sport. And the thing that you can't do that everybody tries to do is make the sport less physical.
That's right.
You can't do it.
It's not
So
a thing.
stop trying to act like we taking collisions out of it.
Yeah, right. Good point.
Here's what I want to try to get you to do too. I need us to stop acting on another front.
What you mean?
That's a call to tease right there, Leroy. I'm cold at him. I talked to your man Bernie. I got him in studio, and I said, Bernie, you've been calling plays for your whole life. I talked to Sean King. Said, Sean, y'all been playing the game at a high level, and when we gonna stop pretending? We all see it. You see it. When you watch the Cleveland Browns, they are a team trying to act like other people. They acting. They dropping back, and Joe Batonio ain't going to say it, but he's like, I ain't never dropped back in them 5 wide and drop back and shadow people and try to be. That's not our game plan. When is Kevin Stefanski going to just say this? You get a meeting with Deshaun Watson, you bring, I don't care, you got to bring the ownership in there. Bring Barry in there and say, listen, guys, we 1-3 right now. We don't got the receivers on the outside to do nothing, going vertical. We need to pare that down. We do not have the offensive line to be protecting 40, 50, 60 passes a game and shotgun. We can't run our play action game out of the gun. Guys, we're going to have to go back, and we're going to have to pare this all the way down. We got Chubb coming back. He's our best player. We can get creative on the ground a little bit, maybe run some little motion stuff or whatever, but we got to get back to doing X, Y, and Z. And this is why you done gave me the doggone extension. This is how I'm moving. When is it going to happen?
Okay. Let me tell you what's going on in real life. That sounds like a bed of roses, what you talking about. It sounds very simple to fix, right? Here's the problem. You're not running the ball well. So that eliminates half of the stuff. Then you got to find creative ways to get positive yards on first down. So you try to do it with the short passes. So I'm not going to get mad at Kevin Stefanski for trying to make it work when your identity has been lost.
You can't get it back?
That's why I said, oh yeah, it's going to come back when 24 come on the field.
Okay.
Because everybody on the field is going to understand the different level of physicality that we now have to play with to have success. See, when you say to a running back, and I'm going to say this, I think the offensive line blocked differently when I was in the game than when Metcalf was in the game.
Right.
Because we was two different runners. Right? When I was running the ball, they would say, all we got to do is give him a crack. He going to push the pile and we going to get 5 or 6. Right? He might even get through there. When Metcalf in his game, we got to get him a hole. Right? Because he runs differently. It's not a knock on Eric. It's just sometimes mentally, it's like, guess what? I've always said to an offensive lineman, you block him wherever you want. It's my job to find the crease. Why still, after 100+ years of football, does an offensive lineman try to steer the defensive guy to show the running back where to run? You know what that's called? Holding. Every time. Because the running back goes somewhere you don't want, so you hold the guy. Just block him. We'll figure it out. I've been saying that throughout my whole career. Hey, just get on him and push him wherever he wants to go. I will find a crack.
You sound like a running back coach. That sounds like a running back coach right there.
That's the reality of it. Give the guys behind you a chance to make a play. You trying to determine where they should go, and that's why you holding.
Great point.
Just block them. We'll figure it out.
Leroy, let me ask you this, because there's a lot of people that's been down on the offense. Do you think it's fair that do you think it's fair to say that you can't really judge them until they get Njoku and Nick Chubb back?
Hell yeah, you could judge him.
Of course. That's crazy.
Why?
Wait,
What? That's
wait.
two.
Let
But
me tell you
those are
why.
two
Let me
big
tell you why.
weapons, though.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Okay? And I'm not picking on the offensive line, but I am. Regardless of who's behind you, why does that preclude you from doing your job? So when I see Deshaun drop back, as soon as he look up, he got 3 men in his face. What that got to do with who's available to catch the ball? You see what I'm saying? It'd be something different if Deshaun didn't throw it because there was no separation. Or if Deshaun didn't do this because he didn't feel comfortable throwing it to the guys and he knew that Njoku or somebody would, go up and contest the play. That is different. There's a lot of times he don't have time. There's a lot of times where Ford don't have no room to run.
Leroy, it's a aura they bring. It's their aura, like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb coming back.
Nick Chubb is an aura. Nick Chubb is an aura.
Not David
But
Njoku.
the other guys, that's step 2 or 3 in the offense.
Yeah.
It starts up front. I tried. So I hope that the whole attitude of the team changes when Nick Chubb comes back because they know how he does business.
Well, Leroy, it looked
You see what I mean?
It looked like the attitude of your Wolverines changed. I look good.
Hey, dude, let me tell you something. They did. They got a big win against USC.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm afraid of. This reminds me when I was playing and we had Demetrius Brown and Michael Taylor. Michael Taylor was smart as a whip, knew the offense up and down. Everybody was excited, but he didn't have a strong arm, right? In comes Demetrius Brown. He had a strong arm, but every time he came in the game, everybody on the first 2 rows put their gloves on because they thought they was going to get one, right? That's just the difference of the two. I see a lot of that now. Orgy is a little more athletic, but they ain't throwing the ball with him.
No, they ain't throwing.
And then when Warren's in the game, he throwing it to anybody.
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma that I'm seeing with them. Now, they're still being able to pull a lot of these games out, just being physical, which I'm glad they got back to. Because if you're physical up front, it's going to keep you in a lot of games you have no business being in, right? If you can control the line of scrimmage. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they have to do. I just know that there's other teams that play more physical, and if they get a 2-touchdown or 10-point lead and you got to throw the ball, I don't know how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, man.
By the way, next time Leroy comes to town, we got to take him. I was just thinking, speaking of Michigan, we got to take him to Sweet Pork Wilson's.
Yeah, listen. When
What
you
that
come
got to do with the
Hey, hold on.
Wolverines?
Because Jason, one of the owners of Sweet Pork Wilson's, played offensive line in Michigan.
He did.
That's why I haven't been there.
That's
exactly why.
Hey, Leroy, when you come to town, you took care of us when we was a poor little show.
Yeah.
You took care of us.
He bought us a very nice dinner.
You bought us dinner. So now
Where G. Bush cut his stuff.
Oh, man. I wanted to go on the other side and say, you want me to cook your steak for you? Little bitty baby pieces.
So what we gonna do? What we gonna do is we gonna return the favor, and when you come into town, Adam the Bull is gonna pay.
I'll co-sign that. Absolutely.
All right, I'll do it. I'll pay him. My treat.
If we go to Sweet Porks, we can hook him up.
That's right. All right, Leroy. We'll see you later, man. Be good.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right.